Beyond. Welcome, everybody, to Beyond, episode 474, the first Beyond of 2017.
And the last.
I want to be saying 2016 for a while. I'm Max Scoville. I'm joined by Brian Altano.
Brap.
Marty Sleva.
Hello.
And Destin Legary.
Hello, everybody.
This is your first time on Beyond with us.
It is, yeah.
Thank you for jumping in here. We don't have a great show lined up. I'll be honest.
I could be here.
It's January 3rd, which means that there's like 1.5 things to talk about, but we'll make do anyway. For starters, there's Ryme, which is a game from Tequila Works, I think, that's been floating around for ages. Looks really pretty. We just got a kind of a re-reveal trailer, whatever that means. I got a PlayStation VR for Christmas, and then there's a bunch of really cool PlayStation Plus coming out this month for PlayStation Plus people, and then of course our personal top games, and we're gonna open this small box. That's our show lineup. Let's get started with the show. Marty.
Yeah.
What the hell is Ryme?
Ryme is this little colorful man in the background with a tower that looks like a jaundice.
Is it his name or is the tower name Ryme?
What if it's both? Ryme was a game that was revealed at Gamescom 2013 by Tequila Works, which
that's been a minute.
Spanish developer who made Deadlight, which is a really cool side-scrolling zombie game for Xbox 360. Revealed this game. It looked like Eco meets Wind Waker meets Studio Ghibli. It looked amazing. We were all hyped for it. And then they just went AWOL for a while. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, it turned out there were some hints last month, and we had to be quiet because we knew what the hints were, because it is our IGN first for this month. And it is re-revealed. It's coming out in May. It's no longer a PS4 exclusive, but it's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch.
Nice. A quick rundown for people who aren't like really familiar with IGN first. Yeah. It's just a month-long focus on a single game.
Usually
sort of
a single game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Usually kind of in the way like magazines used to have like cover issues and cover stories and stuff back in the olden yore magazines.
Olden yore.
Yeah.
Paper times.
Yeah, like Dustin and I had done a bunch of these. It's where we went to Bungie and played the Destiny beta before it came out and did a bunch of features and stuff on it.
We did Dark Souls way back
We
in
did
the
Dark
day.
Souls, OG.
That was just the making of, actually.
I think the making of Dark Souls 2.
And then IGN first was Destiny first.
Yeah, we did Destiny. We've done Bloodborne. We usually pick some of the biggest, coolest games. We have a ton of really cool games lined up for the first half of the year or so. But I'm excited that Ryme looked so cool, and this gameplay re-reveal again shows that it now almost looks like it has shades of The Witness, just in terms of its color palette, and the island looks really lonely.
Well, I was going to say too, it's made by a small team who previously worked on a 2D game, which is like very interesting because it parallels The Witness in a lot of ways. A side note, like I don't understand how video games are made, obviously, which is why I'm sitting here not making one. But it's mind blowing to me that somebody can go from making a 2D game to a 3D game like this in completely different genres, art direction, tone, mood, everything. Like,
Deadlight was like 2.5D, wasn't it? It was like kind of.
It was like characters were 3D-ish, but you were still moving along the 2D frame.
Yeah.
But we talked about this year with No Man's Sky, how it's like their pedigree was Joe Danger, which were these cute downloadable, arcade racing games, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, now you're making the Infinite game that we all want to be.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's very ambitious and really kind of awesome to see.
Yeah, I'm glad we're seeing more of this game too, because it's been really trailers and stuff like that. But it's nice that it's not dead. It's still being developed, and we're gonna get to play it.
Yeah, it's nice that these games that a lot of us thought might become vaporware, like Final Fantasy 15 and The Last Guardian and even The Witness, are actually being released, and in the case of those three, are really good to great games.
This game might be out before Zelda.
Oh, I mean,
Which I think at the start of last year, I was kind of like, I had a feeling Zelda was going to get delayed until the next year, or at least at the very end of the year. And I was like, at least we'll have Ryme. And then we got neither. So 2017 will write all of 2016's problems.
The box.
I say as I knock over the tiny box.
Putting this over here. You cannot have this.
But we're going to have a lot more on Ryme all month long.
Yeah, I watched the gameplay trailer, the re-reveal, and it's one of those games that I think I'm just going to look the other way and just try to keep my expectations sort of guarded. It looks like very fun, kind of 3D.
There was a fox
stuff. Yeah, the fox. I like the fox
and a scary pterodactyl, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's. I almost worry that because we've been talking about it for so long that it will have almost expectations working against it, kind of like how No Man's Sky did. But I mean, hopefully people can be like, this is a little playable fairy tale. So
Yeah, that's on us. We all got to settle down a little bit.
Yeah. Why don't you calm down?
New Year's resolution, settle down.
Yeah, calm down.
New Year's resolution, everyone be quiet.
You know what games can be great this year? Probably none of them. Not a single one. Keep the expectations low, and if something good happens, wow, what a surprise.
Yeah. So I got a PlayStation VR for Christmas. That was cool. Man, I love that thing. I love my new hat. It's a good hat. Yeah, my fiance got it for me, and I didn't know, and so that was a nice surprise.
Wait,
and then
hat? You mean the VR?
Yeah, it's a hat.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's a little hat that I put on.
When I got mine, I came
I
to
thought
work.
you just segued into getting a hat.
Max was like, "How's your new hat?" And I was like, "I know I'm going bald, dude, but like, you don't need to do anything like that." No, I had a feeling you would just like completely fall in love with this toy immediately.
It's such a beautiful little like just piece of machinery.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I don't know what like I felt the same way when I first got a Vita. Like, I don't know what Sony's going to do with this in the long run. I don't know if it's going to be like gathering dust in 3 months. I hope not. But like,
you were saying it was pretty hard to actually get, right? This thing's sold out everywhere.
Yeah, apparently, Jen was like calling up Targets like all over the place, and she tracked one down to like Manteca or something, and I'm like, where is that? She's like, I don't know, and I'm like,
a Final Fantasy boss.
Well, you got it for me, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Marlboro has it.
Was it hard to get in retail stores for her?
What
about on versus
I think
online?
she was tracking. It was like online, like where it's in stock, like pick up in store type stuff. I should ask her what she did with that. But like, I mean,
I have
that's
a hunch they like severely undershipped this thing and kept the sort of expectations even keel, like our motto is for 2017.
Yeah, just everyone. Nothing good's gonna happen.
Not just calm down.
They don't want to pull a Sega Saturn. So
That's
like overproduced.
Yeah.
I think they shipped somewhere between like, I don't know, a Wii U and an NES Classic. So I mean, they said didn't they sell like 750,000
We
of them?
even had trouble getting ours that we crowdfunded for
Yes.
Zach, the fan who
Beyond
wrote
fan.
in. Yeah. And then, thanks to so many of you, we were able to buy a PSVR and a bunch of games and send it to him and his family. And they sent us pictures of playing it. But yeah, it was actually kind of tough for Alana to find it.
It's actually been an issue from the start because I remember the pre-orders sold out really fast, and I jumped on one on Best Buy and then canceled it. And then you remember me going back and forth on the show for like 6 months.
Oh yeah, that was a.
Because no one was there with me. I needed now that you're here and we can do entire sections of the show dedicated to VR, I'm really excited about it. So you have one. It's out there in the wild. They're very hard to get. But do you think this is going to be a thing that people are going to be like talking about in 2017 a lot?
I mean, we'll have to wait and see how 2017 treats it. I think that this is going to be the year that kind of determines it. You know, it's not one of those things where in 2018 rolls around and we see a bunch of new stuff. But luckily, I mean, based on how like PSN's been with getting weird PC games ported over, I don't know if anybody at Sony is just like calling up VR devs or whatever. But the fact that there are people developing for Oculus and for and Vive and the Galaxy Note or whatever. Yeah. But also the fact that it isn't just for games. You can also have like weird 360 movies, and like YouTube and Hulu have like VR modes, which is nuts. I mean, IGN has a VR channel, which I checked out, and it was really weird to like be sitting in my living room, but then virtually
watching yourself,
looking at. Yeah, I'm not actually. There's one video where I'm like, when did we film this? Because my desk is moving.
You're in here, right?
No, it was There's one where we're sitting. Like here, around there.
Oh yeah, if you ever wanted to see like a 360 shot of this little studio we're in, that looks way bigger on camera than it actually is.
No, it's huge.
Yeah.
Keep the illusion. There's also like this big Nerf gun fight we had in our office, and I was when the hell did we shoot this? Because like I can't tell if I'm at my desk or not because there's like a bulkhead there.
Yep.
But then like Kyle's over there. I'm like, that's a while ago. Yeah. We've been doing this for a while, but it's a really really cool device. It is a terrible device to get as on Christmas morning when you have like people coming over for a meal because I'm just all I want to do is like sit on the couch and not be in real life.
Yeah, it's not like getting a Vita where you can kind of just like lumber off to the side and play it in the corner or anything like that. Like you have to actually hide.
Physically removing yourself from society.
Yeah. So I played around a little bit. I got I don't want to just immediately be like, well, bye, honey, see you later. And just, so we played around a little bit.
She bought it for you. She knew what you were
going. Knew what's up. Yeah, she's been cool about it.
You knew you were going to go hide in that new helmet.
Yeah, exactly. But we did play around with the playroom stuff a little bit, which is like very cool. It kind of has that like asymmetrical sort of co-op kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Yep.
The first thing I did, of course, was get the Battlefront VR.
Right.
Thing. And I was just like, I'm looking up AT&T's legs right there. I like that a lot.
Isn't that great? I think one of the things that PSVR does really well is it's just incredibly comfortable. It's the kind of thing where you can just wear for a few hours without. I think it was one of my biggest fears was like, is this thing going to be jarring and annoying after a while? And it's not. Like hardware wise, you open up the box and you just feel like you're getting something. Sony makes good hardware. They just do.
Yeah.
But too, like the sense of scale that you can get in that thing, just like sitting on your couch and looking up and being like, oh, that's an AT&T's taint.
Yep.
And it's about 8 feet wide.
18.
Big old tungus there.
So the T stand for.
Yeah, so going alongside that, Dusty Ricketts wrote into our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/podcastbeyond, and said, after how good Battlefront's VR experience turned out, what games do you hope do something similar? Personally, I would love to see Insomniac Spider-Man have a VR mode where you're web slinging through the city. That would be nauseating.
I mean,
I don't know if I could.
Yeah. I liked what Call of Duty did. Did you check that out? The Jackal Assault?
Definitely nauseating.
Yeah, I think you need your kind of VR sea legs for that one first. But Spider-Man's a really good idea, but it's like, I think with Battlefront, they nailed that sort of feeling of like, I'm in an X-Wing, but I don't feel like I'm going to throw up at any given moment. Like you have to make those games so they sort of expand to casual players too.
Yeah.
Because Battlefront is a pretty casual game, even though I love it.
Yeah.
But like from that, you sort of remove the option for like hardcore players to be like doing 360 barrel rolls and all this other stuff like that. But I think it's just like finding that perfect balance between like fun and comfort and accessibility.
Marty, sorry. You know what 2 games I talk about all the time?
Which 2 games do you talk about all the time?
Destiny and Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Would you
Mass
do Sparrow
Effect.
Racing?
Probably not that, but Mass Effect would probably be a good implementation of
That could
that.
be something cool. Even
Yeah,
if
like
it's
the conversation stuff. Like you could actually have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even if it's just like, I think it'd be cool to have these VR things where you just exist in the world, or maybe you exist in front of character models.
Yeah.
And so something like if you're aboard, I mean, I don't think there's going to be the Citadel in Andromeda, but something like that. Or in God of War, if there's just a Titan modeled in front of you and you can just stare up.
So there are going to be Citadel-size
Locations?
worlds, locations. There's going to be multiple things that you can transport back and forth to.
So that would be super cool.
Andromeda.
Like even if you can't play the entire game, to just sort of experience the world in first person. Like
I would actually love just a sort of like galaxy map in Mass Effect where you could just like push and pull on planets and
like
bring them
with
closer
your hands?
to you and
Yeah.
like check out the topography of
yeah.
them, like stuff like that. Watch ships move around, like even like just setting up basic diorama stuff. Are you playing with like 2 move controllers?
Here and there, mostly with just a controller. But
So, but like stuff like that. I mean, it's never going to replace like stuff that you're seeing on sort of higher end VR systems. But like having 2 move controllers and picking stuff up and like pinching and dragging and like having a galaxy map in front of you in a Mass Effect game where you can just move ships around and just create a diorama. Like it doesn't even do anything, but it's just fun. It's a fun toy.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd love to see more social stuff kind of implemented. I feel like Destiny could have like a kind of like what's that place you hang out? The
tower?
The tower, yeah. Well, if you had like a kind of just a courtyard there where you could, I don't know, mingle with people or whatever. Just,
in VR.
Yeah, be awesome.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Also, like, I mean,
The elevator conversation.
Look at my sweet armor.
yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot where it's just taking the most basic environment that would be entirely boring as a game mechanic and just putting it in VR. It's still really interesting.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main hooks that I learned from my first few months with PSVR, which I'm glad to see you're grabbing onto now, is that like there are incredibly mundane things that you do in video games that when done in VR are suddenly like like stunning. Like in Batman, you pick up a piece of paper and you turn it over and you put it down. And if you did that in a video game, it'd just be an X button, maybe use the joystick a little bit. You'd be like, this is tedious and boring. But in Batman and VR games, you're like, this is really cool and interesting.
Because you're doing it.
Yeah, it feels tangible.
I'm excited to try Werewolf Within with you because I was hesitant to play that game with like strangers online, but I want to play with friends. You know, like this kind of thing that like VR has like online multiplayer options that I think the more people get their hands on it, the more it's gonna be fun. Like if the 4 of us could hang out at a bar or like
I really want to get that sports bar VR stuff.
yeah, like it's not a great game, but it's just a fun weird.
I kind of
place.
like the idea of just being really drunk with you in VR.
Yeah.
Like we're both like at home in our
And we're just
our
throwing-
PJs or
throwing
whatever,
stuff
but we're like still messing up a bar.
throwing bottles around.
Or like you're in a VR version of the bar from the PlayStation commercial where all the different characters are
I
there.
love
that would be
that.
awesome.
Like
Actually.
PlayStation
Yeah.
Home should make a comeback on VR. Like I think
know.
just having just a social space is a huge seller. And if you make it so that you can still screw around with a controller, you don't need VR too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've noticed a couple games are doing this sort of like hub start area that's kind of getting around that, but it's never really close enough. In fact, it just feels more like, I don't know if you're watching like a Cialis commercial or something, and there's a doctor photoshopped into a fake apartment, and he's just like, "Hey, do you have trouble with your stuff?" I play that Pinball FX, I believe it's called, and it's got a VR component to it, and it starts you off in this like living room, and I had just gotten a new TV, and I forgot that my PlayStation camera was tilted all the way to the side, so everywhere I looked in the room, it was like, shaking like crazy. All the TVs were fluttering
I
everywhere.
like the idea that you're playing pinball in VR. You look to your right, and there's a doctor who's like, "Hey, you have problem with your stuff."
Well, that's how they funded it. It was in-game advertising. So I played a little bit of Job Simulator, which is wonderful, stupid fun. I love that whole just kind of cracked magazine Futurama nonsense. Robinson the Journey, gorgeous looking. It's
your dinosaur?
I got the dinosaur. I'm just kind of. I'm going around like playing Connect the Dots by looking at some animals, which is just
we didn't give that game a great review.
That game is stupid, but it's really gorgeous.
Yeah,
like
and
it's totally like a Wii game.
Yes,
Like it's very much like the mechanics are simple, but it's just the novelty is there, and they have I think confidence in making it like it's charming. It's fine.
I really enjoyed just like scanning animal life and plant life in that game. Just like checking stuff out is really cool.
I mean, that's
I want
easily,
more games like that.
Yeah, easily the best looking VR game.
And
Imagine
again,
that in Mass Effect. on alien planets.
No, totally. I'm totally down with that.
Well, there's that NVIDIA tech. I think Alana was talking about it, where it's basically just putting a virtual 360 camera in any environment.
Yeah,
She's talking about seeing The Witcher and like standing next to Geralt and just like looking up at him, and it's like allowing you to just kind of plop down a camera anywhere in the game and then suddenly like just get a different perspective. Like I would love that for Mass Effect, or like whatever your ship is. Like, is it called the Andromeda, or is it just the Normandy? Or
so you have the Tempest, which is your ship, which was like the Normandy, and then you have the ground-based vehicle.
What I'm getting at here is I just want to talk to Kelly Chambers about feeding my fish. Maybe we could do some dancing with her, but she's probably not in this game because she's either not born yet or dead, whichever.
Wait, which character?
Kelly Chambers,
she's gone.
Okay, well, that's a bummer.
I'm really,
anyway.
I'm
Chambers?
Kelly Chambers. I'm really big on like collectibles in video games, and I feel like a lot of times it's just like flat images or like icons or emblems or something like that. Don't say it. I know you're thinking it. Like in Mass Effect.
For a little bit.
But Robinson does this cool thing where you scan stuff and you actually get like a 360 sort of like diorama, almost like amiibo style model of something, and you spin it around. I want more of that in games. Yeah. Like I want that in Battlefront 2. If like I can just go into like the diorama mode, pick up Star Wars toys and like twist them around in my hands, like that'd be so really cool.
It'd be cool to have like a sandbox where you can like stack them up and throw them at each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Just like really basic like physics demo kind of thing.
Or if you beat a game and you've legally had to adopt a child.
What?
Yeah, you said you want like tangible physical goods.
That's really
like that.
That's weird.
That's a lot of work. That's the thing that'll keep you from playing games.
What if DC did something where they had all their collectibles in like one room, and you can just be like, I want to see every Batman toy ever made. And you
that would be awesome.
So cool. Yeah,
that would be totally awesome. I would love like sort of like collect. I mean, I have that like Star Wars card trading app, and I check it like every day, and I just open up a couple packs of cards, and it's all fake. It's all digital.
Yeah.
But there's something to that that's really cool. Max and I got sent a box of Star Wars cards right before Christmas from a friend of the show, and I forgot how fun that was to just tear open like blind packs of cards.
Oh yeah,
it was like incredibly cathartic. And there's something to that collector spirit that I think a lot of adults, like in small apartments, or they have families, or they money issues, they can't just fill their house with like sideshow collectibles and hot toys and stuff like that.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, or the stuff doesn't work. They're on that commercial from that
oh
man.
My goodness.
Getting to collect stuff in a video game, but having it take that extra tangible step where you can pick it up off the shelf and turn it around, I think it's really, really cool.
I would be more interested in that than I am in the idea of like trophies or achievements.
Me too.
That's like a number, an arbitrary number. If it gives me something in game that I could just look at.
Yeah.
I mean,
or you play like a superhero game and you unlock superhero toys.
Yeah.
Like that.
I would say like why not both, right? Like to the trophy hunters and achievement hunters, if they could get that, but also there's like every game had a uniform sort of like collectible in-game like sort of room or something like that.
And instead of microtransactions, you could actually buy those figures and have them shipped to your house.
Which that I like. I thought you were going to say in-game, and I was about to be like, yeah, I would do that too. Here's my real money for a fake thing.
Yeah, I mean, like Skyrim, for instance, I've always loved that the way you look at items, and that is just you like get to inspect them up close.
Even like the load screens are like those 3D models of the things.
So I think it's Sony's challenge in 2017 and beyond to sort of capture that excitement and energy and ideas that we have at this table right now. As Max, who just started getting into PSVR, is like, I have all these ideas for it. I hope developers look at this thing, and I hope it makes sense financially for them to be like, let's put in a free or just small paid VR mode in all of our games, or at least most of them.
I think it'd be cool, and it almost works as like a demo too, because if you get the Call of Duty thing, for instance, like that kind of almost made me want to go check out like Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's going to be a big thing at E3 is how you have third-party games that are on Sony stage, and instead of it being like DLC is coming first or season pass is coming first, it's going to be a VR thing is exclusively alongside.
I hope so.
There's that Final
Destiny
Fantasy 15
2
one, which I haven't seen anything for, but I wanted. That's actually my next thing I was going to say was the thing I've been doing the most in VR is just using the virtual theater.
Yeah, theater mode.
Yeah, and I had a few people ask me. I tweeted about this. I've been playing Final Fantasy 15, which is a game with a very, erratic camera. It likes to go and check out some bushes when you're in the middle of getting your ass kicked. So, not really the best thing I could think of to be like, let's try this in VR. But I've gotten pretty comfortable with it, and it's the fidelity, the resolution of the PSVR. It's like you can see the lines. It looks kind of screen door-ish, but I also find it's easier to read the text. Than it is on
text to begin with.
Final Fantasy 15.
It's like right in your face.
Yeah, I mean, my TV is just like I've got like a 42-inch flat screen or something, but the way my living room's set up, it's just like it's just far enough away that I'm like, I can't read what that says. Something about Ignis or Prompto, maybe. I don't know. I just one of those something about those boys.
But I should move my couch, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to go sit up close like a weird old man, like that old RCA commercial or whatever. But yeah, like I didn't just like my fiance's been playing Final Fantasy 15 on the TV, and we borrowed Alana's PS4, and I was playing Final Fantasy 15 on VR, and it was just like this weird like, well, I'm in my chair and I've got like my. What I love is like you can position the screen wherever the hell you want. So if you're like my neck is sore from sitting this way, I'm just going to lean back, and then you hold down options, and you're just like suddenly your TV is directly above.
Have
you
you messed with the
ceiling.
screen sizes?
Yeah,
So that gets a little ridiculous because
yeah.
if you put it on the largest, like the basic setting is one that just comes. In the box, you don't really think about it. But if you go and hit like the large setting, it's like so big that you actually have to look into like the corners of your mind
Like
to find
sitting in the front row of the theater.
Yeah,
at a
totally,
movie. That would
totally.
suck.
Yeah. It's a bit much.
It's pretty nauseating.
So one thing that you should totally try, there's a bunch of like arcade classic games on there, like Contra and Bubble Bobble. When you play them in theater mode in VR, it's like being in The Wizard. It's like playing an NES game on like a 90-foot tall
Sounds
screen.
good.
It's really cool.
Yeah, the one thing I want to note though is that like playing Final Fantasy 15, just driving around in the car and like just doing random stuff where I'm just kind of waiting, like very tedious things. The VR makes it just super fascinating.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're in full VR, but I'm like twisting the camera around and just being like. Just like staring at stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so close to my face that it's just like, it's really intense. And I really love it. And I'm just, I want to go home and do more of that. Yeah. Anyway, PlayStation Plus is a thing that continues to be totally worthwhile. This month we are getting Day of the Tentacle remastered on PS4 and PS Vita.
Yeah.
This War of Mine, The Little Ones, which is a sad game about collecting stuff in the war times for the little kids. You got to go get some snacks and stuff. That's for PS4. There's Blaze Rush for PS3. I didn't look up what that was. There's The Swindle, which is also cross-buy on PS4 and PS Vita and PS3. And then there's Askend 2 for PS Vita, and then finally Titan Souls for PS Vita, cross-buy on PS4.
Get Titan Souls.
Yeah, Titan Souls rules.
Badass.
Titan Souls is pretty much like 2D top-down Shadow of the Colossus.
So there's a ton of games here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is one, I really like the fact that a bunch of these PS3 games are cross-buy. Usually when I get to the PS3 part of the PlayStation Plus thing, I'm like, I'm not there anymore.
You get that like, ooh, and then, oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Xbox Games with Gold always does that I prefer over this is that any 360 game that's available for free is immediately backwards compatible.
Yeah.
which
It took them a while to learn that.
Oh
though.
yeah, totally.
You know,
That's sort of a recent thing.
I really wish Sony would steal that because there's like it sucks at like I mean I'm a huge PlayStation guy and like a third of the games every single month are
it'll
like
be like Blood Dragon. I'm like, yeah, I would totally replay that. I'm not going to hook up my PS3.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen. Yeah, Day of the Tentacle is amazing. One of the best LucasArts adventure games of all time.
Yeah.
Titan Souls is super fun. Those are the two I would
I actually really like this War of Mine.
Yeah.
It took me a while to it's like it's sort of like Don't Starve, but like side scrolling. And
Yeah.
it just immediately kicks your ass.
Yeah.
And it's not super intuitive. It doesn't have the best learning curve, but I really like the art direction. And I like the tone of it all. Like it's sort of like an apocalypse movie shot from the perspective of inside of a house.
That's the Ubisoft one, right?
no, that was Valiant Hearts.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. I kept getting them confused because they released around the same
And
time.
they have similar sort of aesthetic where like they deal with something heavy but in sort of a cartoony way.
Yeah.
I just love that there's Vita stuff on here.
I know.
I mean, we keep being like, well, RIP Vita. Sorry, Vita. We miss you. And then they're like, hey, here's this free game if you don't have it. You're like, oh, well, all right then.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, like the cross-buy thing is one of the best things they've ever done in terms of PS4 and Vita because like they like tripled that library and vice versa immediately. I think my math is off there.
It's great for people that commute too.
Yeah,
So.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transfarring,
that.
it's called.
No one calls it transfarring.
Transfarring. I love to transfar. Do you?
That wasn't just a Metal Gear thing?
No, that was a Metal Gear. That word was used once. We all had to use it for like a month.
I never
I
used it.
still- I
I was
still
not
use
here
it.
that month.
Say it. Say transfarring.
Transfarting.
Don't. That's not that you mispronounced
Yeah, I broke
it.
your dumb word.
You put a T in the middle of that word. It's not that word.
Eat eggs.
Anyway, speaking of eating eggs, it's time to talk about our personal top games of 2016.
Yes.
Not counting egg eating competition, which is the number one game of all years ever.
That's
Marty,
when Twitter deletes a bunch of people.
So IGN, we officially voted for our Game of the Year over break. It'll be our full list will be up later this week. But
Can you believe it? Billy Hatcher won again?
that Eggman?
7 years in a row.
But no, so I just want to go around and sort of say what our, because obviously IGN's going to have its collective Game of the Year, but we all have different opinions on games.
Yes.
And so
Sure
do. Yeah.
So what about us? He says.
But But yeah, I've talked about before. My game of the year still remains The Witness. It was the first incredible thing I played of the year, and sort of right from the get-go, I was like, oh, this is probably going to be my game of the year. And I think it's because it's something that can't be iterative. Like, there's never going to be a Witness 2. Whereas like so many like the huge fall games, which I loved, like Watch Dogs and Gears and Battlefield, it's like, well, you could make a better one of these next year.
Couldn't you make another Witness Island with more puzzles?
No. They used every
totally
puzzle.
Could. No, you could just make new puzzles.
No, snakes are gone.
That's like saying they ran out of Sudokus.
No, I think you could make a Witness too.
No,
yeah, you totally could.
No,
it'd be terrible, but you could do it.
You could. No one is going to do that.
They could easily do that though.
No,
what if they did a mod?
They won't, but you could.
You could just go in and shoot all those puzzles and get through them that way.
Just have a gun. You break all the screens.
Yeah. What if you like you go to hack them? You just hack them and they just.
That's Watch Dogs.
You get through.
It's a different game.
Yeah.
Anyways, Witness is the best game of the year. Followed, in my opinion, by Pokemon Go, Oxenfree, Inside, and Firewatch, which I sort of just lump into the Marty indie games.
Yeah.
And then I finally got around to playing Dishonored 2 over break, and Alana was right. That game is super incredible.
Good. Let's talk Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game's not a good game, but because of the social aspect, we had this conversation off camera, obviously. But that game it's pretty fantastic that it got everybody out until they ruined it. But it was cool. Like I would go to the library every night at 10 o'clock at night.
There'd be a ton of people out.
Tons of people out. They're all hunting Pokemon. If a rare one pops up, everybody runs over there.
How much do you read that you go to the library every night at 10 o'clock?
I did when Pokemon Go was going on. Like I was trying to like catch as many Pokemon as I could.
Do you think everybody in the library was like, oh boy, the children are reading again? Oh, drats, no, they're not.
The library was closed.
Electric guitar sound. Reading sucks, losers.
I almost wondered if the librarians were like, oh, there's so many people here, but like they're just playing Pokemon by the door.
Yeah, definitely remembered it was your birthday.
Librarians have their birthday every night at 10 o'clock. Don't forget.
But even I run by the Embarcadero, and you would see a ton of people out playing, and it's cool.
Yeah, it took over the city like in a way I've never seen a video game
world.
do. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Like I mean, the one I keep thinking of was seeing like there's a photo of some prime minister. I think it was like Finland or something, and she's in the United Nations, or some poor person who is a grown up who shouldn't be playing Pokemon, especially not at work, but
is at like a room in the UN, and she's like,
and I'm like, well, all right, that's a pretty big deal. You know, like I feel like it's comparable to like when Tetris came out on Game Boy. You know, it was a thing that suddenly it made a medium go from being like, oh, it's just it's a thing for children to like this thing where everyone's kind of hooked on it. I was sitting in a ramen restaurant on New Year's Day, and we looked over, and this like probably 70-something-year-old like Japanese guy came in, and he sort of sits down and he's got his phone out and he's like taking his coat off and he's holding it and he turns it to us, and we're like, Jen's like, he's playing Pokemon, and I'm like, that's an old man playing Pokemon. That's kind of weird to see that.
And
it's awesome.
There's that infamous story about how Joe Biden caught a Porygon, spiked his phone.
You think so?
Yeah, he spiked his phone right in the Oval Office.
I don't think that's
funny. President Obama was like, Joe, you can't do that.
Joe
and his 5S just has a huge hairline fracture.
Really? You're saying Joe Biden has an iPhone 5S? I think it's the most unbelievable part of that story. That was a very important man for many years. You think they only gave him an iPhone 5S?
He spiked it because he got that Porygon because it's a duck with
Why
many
the S
sides.
though? Can we talk?
Because it's small, because he's got small hands.
No, he doesn't have small hands.
All right.
That man can catch a football with 2 fingers.
So what? All right. So yeah, Pokemon Go, very weird, weird game to just a weird game. Anyway,
and that was all the games of the year.
Yeah. I wrote some down on here. Brian started writing his own. I don't think we even read half of those.
No, he wrote real ones.
I wrote real ones.
He wrote a bunch of cursed ones for us.
Okay, he wrote a bunch of lies. He said like it was like Dirty Uncle Island or something. I don't know.
Sandals Resort World Tour.
It's not a game at all. I wrote Watch Dogs 2, Far Cry Primal, Final Fantasy 15, Inside, and Battlefield 1. Weirdly enough, I don't feel super passionate about a lot of these. Like, I feel like maybe it's just the fact that we discuss them so much and so extensively that I get tired of talking about them.
No, it's because
Battlefield 1's pretty good.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But 2016 was not as good of a year as 2015. I'm sorry. Like, it just wasn't.
I disagree.
All year we were like, could this be the greatest year? No, it's a really good year.
Jared wrote the story about how
and then he quit. So suck it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jared. I miss you and I love you.
Yeah.
I sat in your chair today hoping for you to come home and you never did.
Wherever you are, I hope you're eating eggs. Watch
We're
Dogs
going to get
2,
a bunch of eggs now. This is the worst.
Watch Dogs 2 super fun.
Yeah.
Really, really awesome game that I have no intention of ever going back to.
Yeah.
Like, it just completely, like, it was really, really great time. I just marathoned through it, and I completely just got sick of it. It was like eating too much pizza.
Yeah.
It was like working at a pizza restaurant.
Yep.
You know, you're just like, good for now. Far Cry Primal, I really liked it, but then I had this weird drop off where I'm like, I don't need to beat this. I'm good. That's it. Peace.
I got to the level where you get peed on, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah, you peed on that level.
Yeah.
Who pees on you?
What pees on you?
Some crazy guy like
Yeah.
finds
Man
you
pees on
and
you?
he knocks you into a cave and then pees on you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
Very odd. Very odd.
I don't know.
Imagine
It's
that
just,
in VR.
I played, played Far Cry 3 and I played Far Cry Blood Dragon. I played Far Cry 4, and after like Primal did a lot of cool new stuff, but not enough to make me be like, I need to get through this.
Well, I feel like almost every open world game, and especially Ubisoft ones, have this like thing where you just hit this point where you're like, I've done all the things I want to do. My choice is to either leave or to do everything else.
Yeah.
And everything else is usually just like, it's like time trials and like get pissed on the face. And
Here's every Far Cry for me. Go liberate every single base I can, and then I've beaten the game.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
silence
Yeah.
saved. I did it.
Those are always the best parts. Those are always the best parts.
Yeah.
I love that. I actually played. I do a lot more now in those games because I end up like upgrading everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually really into like the hunting aspects in all of them now. Like even if it just means like in Primal, I think I spent like 3 hours just like hunting like a
Bears
like a
or
white
whatever.
bear.
Yeah.
And then I finally got
Those
it, and I
were
was
fun.
like, oh, I made a purse.
Yeah.
I can carry more spoons now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love that. I feel like that's a game that could have probably benefited from not having a story. Like they had a story, and it was like these cavemen shouting at you, and there was like you're supposed to care. And I'm like, I don't care. Just
Yeah.
give me yabba dabba do. Get me out of here. Like I
It's
just
like
want to.
Unga Bunga's wife has been dunged.
Yeah, then there's that crazy like Wile E. Coyote
got
inventor,
dunged?
and like I don't know. But yeah, so those were both open world games. I realized somebody asked me, I think it was on the Podcast Beyond Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/podcast beyond. If you want to go join that. Somebody was like, hey, what are your last 5 games of the year? And I was like, that's a great question. I think it was actually Zach Ryan who posted that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went through and I was like, wow, these are all open world games. Like I really love big open
Yeah.
worlds.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's an RPG, sometimes it's sandboxy. But I felt kind of just disappointed by this year. Like Watch Dogs and Far Cry Primal were both good, but very Ubisofty. And then I got into Final Fantasy, and I'm like, oh crap, here's my new Witcher. Like here is my big, like, I don't even want to rush through this because I know it's a fool's errand. Like I'm not gonna be able to rush through this. I'm just gonna take my time and have fun with it. And I'll probably finish that in like June.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, this is my 2017 game of the year.
Yeah.
And people are gonna be like, excuse me. And I'll be like, all right, never mind. But yeah, also Inside, I really like that because it was on the opposite end of the spectrum. It was very like short and sweet. You know,
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours
Yeah,
long.
one sitting.
and it was gorgeous.
It made
was-
people talk.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
my favorite aspect
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
what did you think of the ending? What
Yeah.
happened
Yeah,
here?
exactly.
What do we land on? No one knows, right?
For what?
For that, like that game. We all just
Inside?
yeah. Without spoiling
Ryan gave it
anything.
a perfect.
You-
so
you get-
No, but
we were a
without
masterpiece.
spoiling anything, we all walked away being like, I know what I think I saw.
You know,
Anyway, good night.
I mean,
they use skeletons
That's like
to
a
make
whole
that
episode.
video game, so I don't really think it makes sense much, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But yeah, actually, I loved how like surrealist it was. Like it didn't make any sense. Like there was stuff in there that was just like very, very weird, and it was not in like a wow, it makes you think, or like, oh, there's deep symbolism, and it just kind of, it's just like dreamlike. It's just a
Yeah.
strange surrealist
Yeah.
thing. That's the same thing I love about Final Fantasy 15, where I'm just like, this universe makes no sense. This is horse apples, and I'm okay with that. And then Battlefield 1, I did not expect this to happen. That I don't usually put Battlefield games on my game of the year list, but something about that game completely hooked me, and I had a really good time with it. I think I kind of like cut my teeth on Battlefront playing shooters, and then I always loved like the more kind of toyetic nature of Battlefield, but it was always really hard for me to get into it, and somehow I got my training wheels off, and I was like, I'll go in there and I'll be like, I'm gonna drive the tank and I'll run over the horse. Oh, you're on fire now. This is my Zeppelin. And
were you bummed
gets
when they
crazy.
said they're taking a break for a little while on that franchise? Because it seems like they're focusing on
Battlefield?
battle. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, no, it's fine.
they're focusing on Star Wars Battlefront for a
Yeah,
while.
that's like the best
I
thing
mean,
you could possibly tell me.
I think it'll be every other year.
I don't know about that.
I think we get Battlefront this year.
I think we're getting a new Medal
yeah.
of Honor next year.
Oh,
No,
no,
that's
definitely don't
not
think that's gonna
happening.
happen.
It's coming back. It's called Medals of Honors.
Wow.
Metal
What about
Gear.
you?
So I have a few games that impacted me the most. I don't know; they're not necessarily the best. Two that I believe are the best of the year for me were XCOM 2 and Overwatch. Yes. And then two that weren't really discussed were that Dragon Cancer and Super Hot, which is now available in VR.
Yeah.
And do we know if that's coming to PSVR, or is that just going to be?
I'm not sure.
Possibly.
But really, I've heard people playing that like a desk over.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that sounds good.
It is freaking cool. If you don't know what Super Hot is, it's this game where basically people will shoot at you, and the more you move, the faster the bullets go towards you. So you have to pick up something, throw it at the bullet, pick up a gun, shoot them, and kind of plan how you're going to solve this typical movie action scenario, right?
Which only lasts like 10 seconds.
Yeah, they last
in real
very
time.
short.
It's like a 10-second action scene.
Wow.
But it's sort of a puzzle game.
And then once you beat it, it plays out in real time, and you see what you did in slow motion. It is an awesome concept, and then you put it in VR. It's even cooler.
Yeah. Oh,
and it's a really, really cool game. If they still have that thing set up, you guys should try that one out.
Yeah, it totally makes you feel like Keanu Reeves in John Wick, or like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, or
just Keanu Reeves.
Do you now, Dustin?
And Keanu.
You've messed with move controllers. Do you think it'll work well with those?
Yeah, probably, because all you're doing is you're picking up and shooting.
Yeah.
So it'd be like pick up, shoot, or however they would map the buttons.
Yeah.
It's very, very simple. You either pick up, throw, or pick up, you slice with a sword. You can actually slice bullets. You can teleport into other people in late game. It's really fun. I highly recommend Super Hot to a lot of people.
That sounds great. I know that came out not in VR. It came out pretty early. I think it was
Xbox.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, it had sort of a mixed reaction, but I get the sense it's one of those games that they either patched it or people just kind of like got the hang of it more.
So they did this really annoying thing where they kept saying super hot.
Yeah, but that's how we all.
And it was super annoying.
That's why we all remember. Like everyone remembers that. I feel like that was smart advertising.
Yeah.
Maybe
Shout out to
that's what it
Poland.
was.
Yeah.
But you guys didn't talk
Shout
about
out to Poland.
Overwatch at all. I'm kind of surprised.
We're a bunch of casual babies.
We were all on the Overwatch bandwagon when that game came out.
Yeah, well,
And,
bandwagons are like that. You're still playing, right?
No.
No. So yeah, bandwagons are like that.
I can play a game enough that I can recognize what makes it great. Like there's lore built into each of those character animations. They tell so much with so little the story, and it's just really, really interesting. Plus, like you have this whole other layer where you can dive into the lore through the comics and the cinematics. You can't really give a game of the year for that, but the gameplay of Overwatch really shines through.
Right.
It's a fantastic multiplayer game.
Yeah.
It's so well balanced, and it was so well balanced at launch. We rarely see that.
Yeah, Alana was the one on the show who really got super into it for the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, my feeling on it when it launched was that it felt light, and what was there felt awesome and balanced, like you said. And I really liked the sort of energy of it. If there's a way to describe that, I feel like a lot of first-person shooters are either too fast or they're kind of like a trudge. And I felt like Overwatch had this just great sort of kinetic energy to it. What didn't really keep me going with it was that there wasn't a lot of modes. And I think Star Wars Battlefront had the same issue the year before, but it had a license that I'm practically married to. So I was like, I'll stick around for this. I'll spend 100 hours unlocking like a Greedo hat, you know?
Yeah. There's not a lot of modes, but there's different character classes. So you have many different characters. And to learn the minutia of each character's play style, that's what really got people immersed in that Overwatch world. And yeah.
So I missed that. I missed Overwatch. I don't know what I was doing. There was the weekend it came out, the weekend that everybody went crazy about it. I was like visiting family or something, or on a trip or whatever. And
You
I just
jerk.
Yeah, and I came back and I was like, and I think I played like an hour like right before we jumped on the show to record, and I was like, I think I like it, I guess, and then I just haven't had a chance to go back.
I really hate when that happens.
Yeah,
that happens to me all the time with video games, and when I do come back, it's like 6 months in.
Also, especially with multiplier.
Yeah,
because
and then you get trounced.
Yeah, people destroy you,
or people get mad at you for not being good at it. You know, and like it's worse than getting killed a bunch. It's when your friends get mad at you.
Yeah, your friends get real mean. They beat you up.
Yeah.
But like when you start up a game and
just be Bastion, just turn into a turret and shoot people.
A turd?
Turret.
Oh, okay. I was about to beat that game up. I'm up here, a turd that can shoot.
It's not Duke Nukem, sorry. Yeah.
No, because I know like sometimes you won't play a game for like the first few months, and then you'll get there and you'll start it up, and there'll be some pop-up screen that'll be like, "What's new?" Well, we've nerfed all the blah blah blah, and then we've added 2.2 resistance. Then you're like, I don't know what you're talking. I wasn't here for any of that. So, hi, this is my first class, and they're like, "Shut up, loser." Yeah, it sucks. But that's cool. I really appreciate the community around that game too. The art community, especially like the fandom that it's created. Like
the cosplay, the fan art.
It's just awesome, and it's just something so specifically Blizzard that just you create this very positive community around it. And I think even when you found out recently that one of the characters was a lesbian, I think there was like a lot of people were sitting there being like, wait for this. Everyone's going to be pissed off. And only like a couple of idiots were, but most people were like, oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I love that game. I'm going to keep playing it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Was it the monkey?
Yeah. The monkey. Yeah. His name's Howard. Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off, but I'm really disappointed in all of you for not playing XCOM 2.
Really?
Yeah. So many people in this office didn't play that game. That is my game of the year
really?
pick
that was
for IGN.
One of those ones where it hit PC first, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't have a PC.
And then it came out later, and I was like, everybody played it already.
I didn't play it out of spite for Dan Stapleton.
Me too.
And me,
I like angering. Yeah, I like angering the two of you.
Here's the thing about XCOM. The people who play XCOM play more XCOM than enough for the rest of us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like that is a game that if you are into XCOM, you are hard into that game. And I love the first one. I played the crap out of that, and I don't know. I kind of just like I can't go back, man.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really fun. The thing that really got me into it though was naming the characters after people you know. So there's more weight to like your decisions, and that just makes it so much more fun. And but I don't want to take up too much time on XCOM.
No, those are good. Those are really good suggestions. A lot of mine are the same as a lot of the rest of you. Watch Dogs 2, Far Cry Primal were two of my favorites this year for reasons we stated earlier. Watch Dogs was just a really fun, weird, like surreal version of the city I live in. And I again love the energy of that game, love the art direction of that game. The music in that game is really good. Far Cry Primal, same thing. It's the only game this year I platinumed. I don't know. I think I just got to the point where I was like 86% done with this game, and I was like, yeah, go for it. Go finish up the weird Mastodon side quests.
Is that the one that was the platinum?
Isn't that weird? Like of all the games, I'm not usually like a platinum trophy guy, but
it's weird to get a platinum in a game where they haven't discovered platinum.
I also really loved Abzu. That's another one that's sort of like inside where it only took a few hours to play. Did you end up playing that?
Yeah, I played a bunch at my desk, and I asked you, I'm like, I just swim around because it's gorgeous and really serene and calming. Even I really, really like that game.
Yeah, and I was like, there's not really like a ton of conflict. It's just sort of like,
I mean, it's the most
Flight of the Navigator.
Two fish hate each other.
They do, but you'll never know it.
You got to read into the deep lore to find out about which two fish it is.
Well, one of them has real slanted eyebrows looking down, and he's angry at the other one who's just like, and The Last Guardian, which was a flawed but just incredible game for so many ways. Just something that stuck with me. I have already seen that game completely disappear from the vernacular of gamers everywhere. I implore you to get, if you get a chance, if you see it price drop, which it undoubtedly will soon, grab that game, play it, play through it. It's very special. Power through the garbage and the wonky camera and the sometimes awkward physics, and just stick around for what that story has to offer. And lastly, Super Mario Run, which I wasn't hot on when
everybody was hating on, and I played it a bunch this holiday break.
Me too.
I think beat your coin score.
You can't. You won't.
No, I have.
What?
Yeah.
I got to get back in there. No, I was doing a lot of traveling over the holiday break. It was like planes, trains, and automobiles for me. I was just every other day. I was like on a 2-hour thing or a 5-hour thing or a 2-hour cruise. A 3-hour cruise. I wasn't actually on a 3-hour cruise. It was very cold on the East Coast. But that's a perfect time to play a mobile game like that. And especially when you have an internet connection somewhere and you can actually play it. The physics of it are really good, and it actually made it so it's hard for me to play traditional 2D Mario games now, because it does a lot of stuff that, I don't see them do. It's got a great sort of movement to it. I really want to see PlayStation start doing games like Super Mario Run and Pokemon Go. I want them to take versions of the things they're making and make bite-sized, much more palpable versions of them on iOS and Android, so people can play them.
Great news. The Uncharted card game is getting a sequel. And you can play it on your telephone.
Uncarded.
On your Xperia Play.
Is that a real thing? There's an Uncharted card game?
Yeah. Came out for Vita.
I feel like you're lying.
It's not called Uncarded.
It's called Uncarded. No, that's the
they're lying to me.
That's the kart racing game that's going to come out this year.
That would be a lie. It's full of cards.
I play a card game.
Yeah. So yeah, those are our games.
Yeah.
Tell us yours.
Yeah, let us know. Rapid Fire is a ceremony we do every week to try to frighten off evil spirits, and it never works. But anyway, we went in the Podcast Beyond Facebook group, which is facebook.com/podcastbeyond/group/podcastbeyond. We do this every week and still screw it up.
We gotta go quickly through this.
Okay.
We're nearing 3.
Luke Christian, Jack Russell Morgan, who has too many names, one of which is a small dog.
Yeah.
What game do you guys foresee putting the most time into this year?
Breath of the Wild.
Zelda or Persona 5.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Maybe Horizon, depending on how long that game is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Horizon might.
Yours will probably be Battlefront 2 if it comes out this fall.
Yeah, I think that the thing with that is I'm going to be playing that game in
Really
like
tough decision.
in like 30-minute sittings probably,
Yeah.
and Zelda and Horizon it's gonna be like. I'm sick. I'm very sick. Please do not come to me. I am alone and I'm very sick. I will be hiding in my cave for many days.
I'm trying to think of what's even coming out this year. Do we know about Final Fantasy VII Remake?
We don't know if that or Kingdom Hearts 3 will be out this year. But if they are,
No idea.
All right.
Destin will be playing Destiny 2 and Mass Effect Andromeda.
There you go.
Can we?
if they come out this year, but the one I'll spend the most time on would be Destiny 2 if that one released.
Yeah.
And you brought up really good ones, Zelda and Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Horizon looks awesome.
Yeah, we don't know how big Horizon's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be one of those like 25-hour open world games or if it's going to be like a 50, 60, 70.
I hope it's kind of like a Tomb Raider scenario where it's like 15, 20 to get through the main stuff, but you can stick around and
That's
almost
fun.
double it.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan of Weta games that I gave up a chance to play Horizon, to play Last Guardian at E3, just in case it never released.
Right.
You know?
That's
Yeah.
smart. That's honestly like a pretty smart move. Scott Davis said, "What did y'all do for the new year?"
I got a good drunk on.
We got a you
Went
you
to a
did-
bar.
Yeah,
My girlfriend.
Yeah. I had people over and we played Overcooked, which is an awesome party game.
Yeah.
Which
I was in the house. I was in a house in the middle of the Catskills Mountains, surrounded by snow, and there was barely any Wi-Fi. And we had the TV cut in and out just long enough to see Mariah Carey fail at that song.
Really?
And then the ball dropped, and I was like, I don't care about this.
yeah, I don't have
Very
any like.
weird.
You were in the snow-covered mountains?
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
We didn't have any we don't have TV. I don't have cable.
You burnt a Minion.
Oh, that's right. We burned a Minion pinata that I wrote 2016 on, so that was a
Yeah.
good way of doing it.
burnt
Also,
it.
I also made pigs and blankets.
Oh, we did make pigs and blankets.
Were they okay?
Blankets.
Oh,
They're pretty
they were
good.
real
They
good.
turned out well.
Yeah.
Lee Chance's Team Beyond views on Nintendo Switch.
I think that the story that we had on IGN in the last few days about how Mass Effect Andromeda is not coming to Switch, I think this
I don't care about it anymore.
Well, I will say that we are now firmly in the same place where you can look at like the image for the Sonic the Hedgehog cycle and you can put Nintendo consoles in there. Because I think we all have done that thing now where we've been like, this is the one, this is going to be the system that revolutionizes everything. This is going to be the one that gets all the third-party support in the world. And then the specs come in and then like the battery life come in and like all the other stuff starts coming in. And you start realizing that to have a system like this that can't maximize the hardware capabilities that that it's, siblings can in the console wars, it means that you have a lot of companies and developers sacrificing their vision to port a game to this platform and thus won't. Plus, you couple that with the fact that Nintendo fans historically do not buy third-party games and never will, no matter how much they say or pretend they will. And this will largely be another system that plays a couple of awesome Mario games, a couple awesome Zelda games, a couple awesome, Animal Crossing, or what have you. Nintendo first-party games. And you'll get some cool, quirky, weird third-party stuff. And they'll be able to drag and drop a bunch of stuff from last gen and make it portable for the first time ever, which would be really cool to play sort of like, Watch Dogs or Skyrim or something like that anywhere you go. But mostly it's another Nintendo console, like it or not, and I think in 3 or 4 years they'll be scratching their heads trying to figure out what's next.
I'm a little worried about this one. I think Nintendo needs a big win after the Wii U.
They do.
In the console
really do.
in the console market. Yes, they broke into mobile, but that didn't do well with their investors. And I'm really, really hoping that the Switch does well. But there's so many ways it could fail. The battery life could be too little. The peripherals could be janky and not work that well.
Yeah.
And that's what worries me about this platform. And then we're seeing like when it runs on the screen, it runs at a lower FPS than it does when it's docked. I mean, like all that stuff is super concerning this early. And I know there's a big event coming up on the 12th and we're going to know more.
Yeah, we're going to know more in about a week and a half.
But I'm worried. I want it to be an awesome console and I want that third-party support and everything, but I just don't know, man.
I'm looking at this thing like it's going to be the best handheld Nintendo's ever made, and I'm not looking at this thing like it's just another lackluster console. Because I think as a console, it's not going to be great when put next to the PS4 or the Xbox One. It's got no VR capabilities. It's 1080p. I mean, people have even said like it can do VR. No, you don't want a 720p screen on your face for VR. Trust me, you just don't. It just doesn't work. But Nintendo always does this thing, and I've noticed this as a lifelong Nintendo fan, is like they have an announcement or there's a rumor or there's something like that, and then all of a sudden you start to see all the holes in it. It sounds like the greatest thing in the world. They're like, hey, Super Mario Run, it's gonna be this, this, and this. Oh, it's $9.99. Oh, it's always online. Oh, it's only 24 levels. Hey, there's a new blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's this hole. Like the NES Classic. You're like, oh, this thing looks awesome. Oh, you can't pre-order it. Oh, you have to get up to reset it.
Yeah.
Oh,
the cord is
the
2 feet
cords are 3 feet long. So it's basically just like, it's like one step forward, 10 steps back every single time.
Yeah.
So cautious optimism on this one. How do you feel about it, Max?
I want it to be great. I want it to be awesome. I really wish that this could be the thing where, you know, Nintendo goes, oh, okay, we'll sort of toe the line now, and we'll, you know, get people back on board with, you know, just get some third party stuff on there. Like, I mean, it's weird to think that games I love on like Sony platforms started out on Nintendo. You know, like I love the PlayStation because it's kind of the Super Nintendo, which the N64 wasn't. You know, and it's just I want them to do something that like completely makes me go, oh yeah, gimme, I want that now. But I
bring back Mega Man.
Yeah,
I mean, they're gonna have to do a lot to make me even like remotely consider pre-ordering.
I mean, like let's look at some of the biggest third-party games of 2017. Right off the bat, you have Red Dead not coming, Mass Effect Andromeda not coming. I mean, I'm sure that
not yet. I mean, they're still open to the idea.
Yeah,
but I mean,
again,
that's not a good sign if they're not in talks already.
I know that. That's like when you break up with someone and they're like, "Well, no, we might get back together." No, you're not. You're never
not?
getting back with her. No, you're not. That's why you have that Silence commercial.
All right, finally, Oliver Cumberbatch said, would you like to see a new From Software game released this year? And if so, from what franchise?
Yeah.
Of course.
Bloodborne 2.
Bradburn 2? Yeah.
Bradburn 2. I really want it.
I'd be excited for Bradburn 2. I also want to see them do something with robots.
Armored Core.
I don't want robots.
Armored Core.
We got some cool presents. I announced the small box would be open at the top of the show, and here it is.
So excited.
This is a small box from Chris V. Kelly.
Chris V. Kelly?
Chris V. Kelly.
Dawn of
Open it up
Justice?
with the small horse pen.
Oh, it turns out we should have got a knife.
We should have got a knife. We didn't get a knife. I'm using a
Do
horse
you want
pen
some
to
keys?
open. I have keys. How do you think I get into my house?
I don't know.
For the love of God, just vamp while I open the small box.
Your dog door?
The sled.
An awesome Comedy Button fan delivered these horse pens to the office.
No way!
Oh, I know what this is. This is
love
cool.
this thing. Oh, okay. So
It's
this
a
is
Ninja Turtle ooze thing.
What?
It's that Ninja Turtles toy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God!
So this is a Ninja
I
Turtles
love
toy
this.
that used to give me nightmares when I was a kid because it's really upsetting. Basically, what you do is you set it up and it's got this.
And then you torture
It's got this
your
toilet.
toys.
Yeah.
You put Shredder on this toilet and he craps ooze down this little chute. And it's got this like messed up like S&M strap that goes over your like Raphael, and he's got to sit in this centipede-filled sandbox full of like cat farts.
Those are other
crap.
mutants that touched the ooze and reverted back
Yeah.
to their original form.
It made me so upset as a kid. The idea of like Shredder taking a huge dunk on one of the.
It doesn't have any ooze, but we can buy some and dump it all over your dirty carpets.
Find out.
Don't.
No, there's no ooze in there.
No ooze.
Yeah, you used to be able to buy it from
a
like
little bit of
vending
detritus.
machines.
I think we have some
I
ooze in
remember
the
that.
room.
And then I think a bunch of people got their house
I
stained.
know a guy who has some moose.
If we can't find ooze in the IGN offices, I'm going to start working on my resume. Anyway,
Oh, you're doing a second one too?
here's the second box. This one is from Javier Bonet.
Christmas came early.
Yeah, No, actually, we showed up late after Christmas, so you know.
I
it's
get
sort
the
of-
joke.
That's one way of looking at it. Nice work, Dustin.
Wow, you put that toilet together very quickly.
This was like my favorite toy.
You wrapped them. You wrapped the presents.
Wow, Christmas came really early this year.
No, again.
Probably the
wait.
earliest Christmas ever.
Oh,
And then
God,
you do
got
this.
all over the floor.
Look what you did, you dolt.
Shut up, you. Here's your stocking.
Oh, wow, Christmas is earlier than it's ever been.
This is great. Okay, what do we got? I can't read.
Mine is a stocking that says Brian Beyond.
Marty.
Mine also says Marty Beyond.
Aw.
Oh, and there's a piece of paper inside it. It's a fake paper boot.
Aw, this one's for Andrew. It says Bevmo on it. No, it says Beyond. All right. And is there one for Alana? It'd be really weird if is there not one for me? Wait,
Maybe you have the actual present.
what do I got?
What are you drawing?
Aw, there's one for me too. Stockings. Oh, and then there's a letter. I'll open the letter. Man, this must be a terrible podcast.
It would have been so great if there wasn't one for Max.
That would be pretty funny. What are you doing? What are you writing on that boot? All right.
Here, I got you one.
Oh, wow.
For you, Destin Legampty.
Nailed it. Thanks.
What?
This is a long letter. I'm sure Marty is eagerly waiting for a new Battletoads game. Again, thank you for keeping things informative and quirky. You're all a constant inspiration. Sorry about the glitter.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait,
Thank
is
you.
it glitter?
Box.
You just gonna keep opening it?
It's gonna keep opening the box. I bet it's chocolates, which I cannot have.
Why?
Wait, puzzle?
Are you is it a puzzle?
Candied canes.
I'm gonna put one in I'm gonna do a hot chocolate. I'm gonna put whiskey in it, and then I'm gonna eat a candy cane.
What's wrong with you? Is everything
Christmas
okay?
is not happening yet. It's too early.
Wow, this is the earliest Christmas it's ever been.
I love Christmas. You get candies and toilets. Everything is great. Anyway, this was
Thank you,
beyond.
Javier Bardem.
Thanks, Javier.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Javier Bardem, I love your work. Anyway, oh God, I've got the little popcorns in all kinds of places. That's a weird noise.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Anyway, what did you write on there?
Nothing.
Okay. Anyway, if you enjoyed our terrible antics, you can find us all on Twitter. I'm Max Scoville. Brian is Agent Bizzle. Marty is McBiggity with 2 G's and 2 T's.
Yes.
And Destin, you
At
are
Destin Legary.
Just Destin Legary.
Ah,
cool.
he's
And
smart. He did his
if you
name.
like the sound of Destin's dulcet tones, you can find them over on you're on Podcast Unlocked.
Yeah.
And you're also
that guy.
on. Are you guys still doing Fireteam Chat?
Yep.
Here and there? Yeah. They keep
Are
making
you gonna
Destiny
raise more
things.
sparrows?
Still do it once a week. Cool. Well, we're on. It's a holiday time, so we're getting back into it soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lose track of which show specific things get hiated.
Don't do that.
And then of course you can. What are you doing?
I was going to open it up and throw them everywhere.
Please stop opening candy on the show.
I'm going to make a
throwing
cane.
That sounds like a wrestling slogan or something. That's terrible. Anyway, thank
Never
you all
made a
for.
cane? You go to the club, just throw candy cans in there?
Thank you all for listening or watching, and we'll be back next week with more fun stuff to talk about, and probably another box of candy to open because it's all we do on this stupid
And
show.
remember, if you have some extra candy canes left over from Christmas, you can put them on your wall. It's a popular wall decoration.
Oh my God! My favorite decorating idea: a mini cane pushed through card paper. Embellishment for a bow. Thank you for listening or watching. Beyond.
Merry Christmas, too.